just see a shift of quality. So when all these guys came in, Hartl, Sedi, Yannis, doesn't matter who it was, like Simon has been amazing. You can just see the change.
Welcome to a new edition of the City Voice podcast. I'm joined by a very special guest at the end of the season. Welcome back to the show. Edu Löwen, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We're really excited to talk to you today. I think last time we did a podcast, we were over at the training ground before we'd even kicked the ball, right?
Yes, I think so. That was probably 2 years ago.
Probably 2 years ago, yeah.
Or?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. I think it was literally before the season started. So it's great to have you on the show. How have you been?
Pretty good. I mean, season is coming to an end, or is ending already. Yeah, we would have liked to play a little bit longer, but here we are now. It's also okay.
Yeah, so the season's it's been a bit of a roller coaster of ups and downs. How would you top line sum up the season?
Yeah, I think I summed it up as when I view back the first half year has been amazing. The second half year wasn't that great, but we still finished first in the Western Conference. And this year it has kind of been the other way around. But I mean, we couldn't manage to make it to the playoffs anymore, which was very unfortunate. I think we've played a really good tournament in the Leagues Cup where we should have get to the next round. But I think the second half year was pretty good, and that's something we can build on for next year.
You mentioned the two halves of the first season. Does when you have a bad second half of the season, or not a difficult second half of the season, as a professional, does that carry through into preseason sometimes? Do you feel I've still got that in the memory?
Not really, no, because you have weeks of just processing it and everything, and I don't know, for the first couple of weeks you're thinking a lot about the last season, and then as it comes to the end of the off season and you're getting closer to preseason, you're already so much into the next season and focus on preseason, focus on the next season, the goals you want to achieve, that you basically forget about what was last year, or you are trying, or I'm at least trying to use it as an advantage of the experiences I had from the previous season to bring that into next season. And
it's quite difficult sometimes looking at the form of the first half of this season, because last year, the first season, the inaugural season, you had almost no draws, and the front half of the season was it was a lot of draws. It wasn't terrible and it wasn't great. How do you process that as a player? What's the reaction in the dressing room when it's just it's not 2 points and it's not 0 points and it's just kind of lives in that?
I think the problem with always having a draw is kind of that you get settled and that you get satisfied with way too less. You think we didn't lose, but it's also dependent on the game. Let's say you are up, like Portland, for example, when we played 4-4. In the end of the day, we are so mad at ourselves that we didn't win that game. Versus in New England, where we can be also we could have won that game, but good thing that we came back in the second half and got the draw, and got the point. So it's kind of both sides of it. You're kind of happy with a point, but at the other hand, you are also not satisfied with a point. But at a certain point, it was kind of frustrating, and you are it was always kind of that much missing for 3 points, and then you are thinking okay, this game, if we would have won these games, we would have been in the playoffs now.
And I think I've spoken about luck on this podcast with other players. However you want to cut it, luck plays a role in soccer, particularly in MLS where the teams are all closely matched. When the luck's going against you, how does that affect you as a player, and how does it affect the squad? Is there a kind of feel a bit of victimhood, everything's going against us? What's the mindset in the dressing room when things are going badly?
I think it's really hard that when something like that happens, where you feel like that's happening, that you are not letting each other down and think like, okay, we are giving up on it, because like that's what happens all the time. So then you go already in with this mindset into the game. Like, let's say, for example, Portland. I think it wasn't about luck. It was more so created by us because it was our fault. Like, we were leading, we were playing well, we were dominating that game. And then every time we were leading, we were dropping back and let them do the game. And then it was only a matter of time until we can see the goal, which we always did. And then we came back and then we did the same thing again. So I think, yes, sometimes you can say that. I think some situations you can say it was a little bit of luck. Vancouver was, I mean, the goals we conceded were crazy. But in the end of the day, it's also a lot on us, you know, to do that, to finish up these games.
Was there also an element of when everything went so well the season prior? Are you thinking about how good things felt the season before, and then you've got this new feeling that you're having to deal with of disappointment? Is that something that a squad has to learn to deal with, and maybe you didn't get such an opportunity in the first season?
Oh, for sure. And I even said it like many times in the locker room, where we were like in a really, really bad spot, where we couldn't manage to win games, where I was like, okay, like, guys, it's really easy last season to be a leader. It's really easy to kind of like step up and to play well, and we are all cool with each other because we win almost every single game, you know. But now where we are losing, now we are having jaw after jaw after jaw. What are you doing then? Like, are you taking a step back and let other guys figure it out, or are you still like time after time? Doesn't matter how frustrated you are, doesn't matter, like you are sick of it, and you are like, I mean, how many times does that happen? But you can't just, you know, give up on a team, then give up on yourself, because like if everybody does that, then we are done, you know. And then I think also the season wouldn't have looked in the second half year as it has been, where we performed really well and played a lot of good games.
And you're a leader in the team. You're part of the leadership committee. What were you guys doing during that period? How did your sort of day-to-day change? Do you like come up with strategies to motivate the team? Is it that structured, or is it you're just doing your own thing for the boys in your own individual way?
I think, yeah, many different ways, you know, like whether it is when we are having a meeting where you are always trying to figure out what the problems are, where you are trying to be a problem solver, or what is going on the pitch, you know, stuff like, for example, I was like, after a game, I was asking myself, like, what is wrong with this team? Like, what is happening? What do we need to improve on? And for example, it has been something like that when we were leading in games, that we stopped playing football, and we were just like dropping back and let them do the game. And that's where we always conceded. So like things like that, to see that and then bring that to the team and tell them to improve on that. But then it's also individually seeing like every player has his own struggles, you know, like seeing the need of another player, like maybe talking to him, or I don't know, going out for dinner, or calling him, or whatever, you know, like stuff like that, where you're trying to do something in front of the whole team. But then also, like individually, it's really important to always, at least in my opinion, to always look out for your teammates and other players who are struggling with whatever it may be. Maybe it's even something private.
I saw in your press conference yesterday, I think it was, you said that you see St. Louis as a home now. And this is a way of tying this into the game. When things were going badly for the team, the one consistent was sellout crowds, fans cheering your name. That doesn't happen at every club. Is that the sort of thing you notice as a player when you're on the pitch? 100%. And I, as I said it many times, and I really mean that when I say that, I've never experienced something like that before. So much so that sometimes, like on the pitch, I'm even surprised. Like, we lost the game. Best example for me, Minnesota, where we lost here, and it was kind of like our last chance to make it to the playoffs.
and that they were still cheering, I was like kind of confused. I was like, wow, like this is amazing. This is really unique. And I've played in a couple different clubs now, and I've never seen that before.
And they stay after the game as well. So they wanna sign autographs, which is special. I want to like take a shift. We'll head into the positive zone soon, but there was a mid-season coaching change, the first that we've had. I wanted to ask like how that affected you on a personal level.
I honestly, I'm used to it. I had so many coaching changes in my career. I don't know. I can't even count it how many coaches I had. I've been part of so many coaching changes. So as hard as it sounds, I was used to it, and I'm always prepared for it, because that always happens in soccer. It's a tough business, and the coach is always in a tough position, because he's the one who's usually the one who has to give up his job, you know. But I think I don't want to go too much into that. I think Bradley did a good job. We were first in the Western Conference. We had huge achievements and everything, but then at that point we just couldn't get the results anymore. And me personally, I have a really, really good relationship with Hack. He's a great guy. I already had a great relationship with him when he was the assistant. So it was really good for me personally that not like somebody else is coming in who I don't know, and now I have to get to know another coach again. So when Hack came in, it wasn't really a hard transition for me, and I think also not for a lot of other guys, because so many guys knew him and had him already as a coach. And I mean, Hack personally is just is a really great personality who makes it easy to work with.
What did he say to you guys when he picked up the role? Like, what was the rallying cry?
That's a good question. I have to remember that, but I don't know. Nothing that really stuck with me or something. Like nothing really special or crazy. Like I said, like it wasn't a new coach who's coming in. It was Hack, who has been around, who has been a coach already. Many of the players had him already. So it wasn't like really, really new, and he was around in the building. We had a lot of conversations with him all the time. So it was kind of, okay, Hack is our coach now. Like that's awesome. But at the same time, it's not like a big change, you know?
Fans always get really, really excited about transfers and new players coming in, players leaving. The players get excited. When do you read the twitter.com to see players coming in? Like what was it like knowing that there was going to be movement? Do you get excited that reinforcements are coming?
Yeah, I mean, Lutz talked to me many times, and also to other players when he's also signing players. Then he's also asking guys within the group who know the player, played with the player, you know. So, for example, with Cedi or with Hartl or with Giannis, you know, I played with them together in the national team, so we knew each other. And he was kind of asking me, and I was in contact with them before, at least with Cedi. So yeah, you're excited for sure, and it's kind of crazy, the soccer world, you know. I've played with these guys together in the national team. I played with Cedi in Nuremberg. We got promoted to the first league. I played with him in the Olympic Games. So, and now we are meeting here in St. Louis City and playing together here is really sometimes crazy. What a small world.
Was it a big lift for you to have, you know, players that you know coming in? I mean, you know the quality level as well, so that must be take some of the surprise out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like especially in that period of time, you know, we had a lot of injuries. Our team wasn't complete, and we couldn't win games. And when these guys came in, then the excitement was obviously even bigger because of the quality that they bring in. But it's also really, really cool for me knowing these guys. We played already together. We know each other. We know each other on the field. And yeah, both sides of it are really good. You know, you speak the same language. So
did you, when you started to train together before the Leagues Cup, could you feel that there was going to be a shift in performance just by what the guys were bringing to training sessions?
100% for sure. Like immediately. It's not only like in terms of like people see the goal scoring, people see the assist, but it's like also the way they defend, that they are like tactically smart. They know what they are doing. Cedric, for example, he knows the spots that he's like occupying. It looks sometimes so simple, but it's just more than just scoring a goal or giving an assist. You can just see a shift of quality. So when all these guys came in, Hartl, Cedric, Giannis, doesn't matter who it was, like Simon has been amazing. You can just see the change.
Did John set it up the League's Cup run would be a chance for everybody to reset and everybody to like get a fresh start? Is that how he lined it up to you guys?
Yes, that's how we approached it. And I think the League's Cup came at a really good timing, because we had a lot of injuries and now guys are slowly ramping up, getting fit again. Klaus was coming back, Rasmus was slowly coming back. And I think the League's Cup has been a really, really fun tournament, and I was really, really disappointed that we couldn't make it to the next round. I think against Club America, we've played amazing. I think it was one of our best games, but one of the things I just talked about, where we just let the game slip out of our hands. We should have advanced and won that game. Was very unfortunate because I think we could have played an even better tournament.
The team felt like there was a shift in style a little bit. Like you're playing within the philosophy of the club, but with the new additions to the squad, it felt like the game changed a little bit. A little bit more possession in the final third, and some of the football that you were playing with the new signings was really exciting. Do you feel like those new players unleashed a different part of your game by coming into the team?
Yes, I think so, because it took some of the pressure off my shoulders to basically try to create everything. And also, like, I know, let's say, for example, when I'm in a deeper line, I know I can, like, when there's a tight window of breaking the line and playing it in between, and I know I have to play that ball like really hard and challenging. I know when Cedi or Cello are in the spot, I know I can play that ball, Or I don't know, like Giannis, I know like he's under pressure, but I know I can still play in the ball because I know he can deal with that. So these are things that help a lot in the game. But then also, obviously, you have seen moments where they scored goals. Also Simon, where you just know they can finish these balls off, and you can play these balls and expect them to do something with it,
Yeah, it was definitely noticeable in the last few months of the season that you would join the attacks a lot more often. I'm thinking of the goal you scored in the last home game where you popped up at the back stick and put it in. Is there a confidence in knowing that if somebody's holding onto the ball, you can join the attack and not have to run back?
Yeah, for sure. But then I also have to rely, I think, like, for example, now Akil, who has played a couple of games and he hasn't played so many games before, but I feel like I'm pointing out Akil now. I could point many other guys out, but like Akil hasn't played so many games, but whenever he played, he was playing really well and he was always delivering. And I played with him on a 6 now for a couple of games. I think that has worked really well. But then it also gives me the freedom of knowing, okay, Akil knows when I'm going that he's staying, So these are also things that obviously nobody else or like not many people see. But in that moment, it's really important for me because I know I can join the attack because Akil, for that instance, is staying and holding the position for me.
I think I saw a stat that Akil is one of the leaders in tackles per game, making over 3 tackles per game.
Oh, okay.
So he's up there. He's doing a good job in that 6th position.
I'm going to tell him.
Did you expect Cedi to go as crazy with the goals as he did? You felt that was coming?
Yes, for sure. I've even like I was expecting that for sure. Like I know his quality from Germany, and when it was one thing that I remember, that he's always able to score a goal. Like even if he maybe doesn't have a good game, or maybe if you feel like he's not dangerous in that game, like he can take one chance and he's gonna finish that off. I mean, I think it was Kansas, his goal here. I don't know, where he has this first touch with his left in tight spaces and then like finishes it off. But as I also said, like the runs he makes and the spaces he's occupying, you know, he's a smart player. He knows his way around on the pitch, where to be at what time.
And Simon came in, and you know, big surprise for everybody how brilliant he was from the the very first game. What does he offer as a striker?
Yeah, I remember when he was playing at Vancouver, and you know, I was always like, for example, now Vancouver, like Ryan Gold, Brian White, really good. But I remember Simon like always scoring goals. When he was playing, he was scoring a lot of goals, and I was like, wow, like this guy is good, you know. And when he came here, I was like, hold on, like that's the guy from Vancouver. I was kind of confused. I didn't know he was in Denmark. And when he came here, like I was kind of like I didn't know him so well. But I mean, Jake played with him, and Jake was telling me that he's a really good player, that he is has a really high work ethic, and he's scoring a lot of goals. He's a really dangerous player. But I didn't know what to expect. But he has played amazing. He scored some really, really good goals, and he's stepped up in a big way. And I think it's really important knowing that you have this type of quality. You have a striker like Klaus, and then you have also a striker like Simon, who you know he can always deliver. He can always score. And yeah, he's also dragging a lot of fouls for us, which is really important sometimes.
Especially for your free kicks.
Yes, for my free kicks, but also like sometimes dragging a lot of fouls to just like give us time to get a breather again, you know? So stuff like that is really important.
And you know, the final attacking element, like Marcel, I don't think we've seen a player like him at City Park. He's got a lot of magic about his game. How much fun is it having him in the side from a creative and goal threat perspective?
Yeah, Cello is really, really, really good on the ball. Also occupies really good spaces. He's comfortable on the ball. Like whenever he has pressure, you can always play him, which is really good. I like that, you know, because I want to receive the ball in all the areas of the game, even when I'm under pressure, and same does he. And I think it's just very good, like, because I know I can have combinations with him, like even if like there are a lot of players around, but then also the assists he's pulling off, the goals he's scoring. LA Galaxy was a crazy goal. What a finish that was. And I think we can expect a lot from him, because like you also have to say, like Simon, Sedi, and Cello, they didn't have a preseason. They came in here after a long vacation. So I think it can be even more promising and even better when these guys get a full preseason and a full preparation with the team.
Is that one of the positives that you'll take out of the back half of the season? If you put it in perspective, it was like it's like a long preseason heading into 2025 almost. Like you're getting used to each other. The preparation will be easier come the winter. Now you've got a settled forward crew.
Yes, for sure. I mean, it's now we have a long off season, and we have to take really good care of ourselves, you know, of mentally just shutting down and getting some rest and everything, but also coming back in a good shape. And then having the preseason this year, it's going to be different. Last year was a little bit chaotic because like we had the Champions League right away. Everything was like really, really quick. It was a really short preseason. So I think this year, this can be really helpful for the season to have a longer preparation.
And I did want to talk about how your leadership evolved over the course of the season. You know, we lost people from your leadership team, vocal people that were on the pitch a lot of the time. Did your role as leader change? Did you take on more in that instance, do you think?
I don't think so. I think I was leading also the team before. But I would say, I mean, for me, I wouldn't consider myself and say like, oh, I'm a really good leader and I have to be the leader I am. I want to evolve in that, you know, I want to grow in that in many different aspects, you know. And I think in the end of the day, like being a leader doesn't mean that I'm that I'm worth more than another player or a younger player, or that I have more say than a younger player. It's just that I have more experience, and I know that these guys are looking up to me, to Roman or to Klaus or whoever it may be. And it's really important for them that players like us are helping them out, you know. And I think in many ways, I don't want to be a leader of playing the hypocrite and pretending like, well, I'm going to tell you how to do it and I'm going to lead you, but you don't tell me what to do. So I think that's like really important for me to also be open what other people's other players want to tell me or teach me or how they want to lead me, even if it's younger players.
And it's a different dressing room now to what it was at the start of the season. Do you feel happy where it is right now? What's the feeling in the dressing room? What are the vibes like? Is it like does it feel new to you?
Yeah, I think it's like a really healthy locker room, I would say. We have a lot of fun together. We have a lot to laugh together. We are hanging out a lot together. We are playing games. Away trips are always pretty fun and everything. So I really enjoy the environment we are in, the locker room, but also outside of the locker room, like within the club. And now you bring also the city in. It's a really, really unique environment that I really, really enjoy.
How do you feel your game has developed this year? You mentioned that you wanted to evolve the way you lead. You're extremely accomplished as a player. Like I was looking at some of your stats, particularly your attacking stats. You're in the 95th percentile for, all of these big attacking numbers. Like, do you look to evolve parts of your game? Are there like parts where you're like, I'm not strong here, and this is what I'm working on over the season?
Yeah, I mean, there will never be a time in my life, in my career, where I can say, okay, now I'm good enough and now I don't need to evolve in anything anymore. So I think there are a lot of things, not for me only attacking wise, but I think what was kind of annoying me sometimes when coaches gave me, or like were thinking or pretending or saying that I'm a player who only likes to attack. Like, yes, I have to push myself to defend, or basically, like sometimes I have to admit I was a little bit lazy defending, but I know I can defend. I know I win a lot of tackles. I know I can be good both sides of the ball, with the ball and also off the ball. And I think I've also proved that in a lot of games. But that's something where I want to have like more consistency of being good both sides of the ball. And sometimes even like reading the game of, okay, maybe today, like you want to attack, you want to score a goal, you want to have an assist. I always want to have the ball. I want to like be the creator. But sometimes there are games like Houston where we won 3-0, where my role was more defending. And I think I've done in that game a really good job of defending, and attacking wise, I wasn't really so much into the game. So after the game, I wasn't so happy. But I mean, in the end of the day, we won 3-0. So I think that's also important, where I have to sometimes just it's a struggle of not like viewing myself more important than the team, and sometimes that has to come with doing the job that I don't like as much as attacking with the ball. Where's
your ideal position? Because you played with so many different midfield partners this season. What's your ideal?
Yeah, I would say on a 6-6 or as an 8, with a lot of freedom of coming back and creating, but also sometimes shifting a little bit higher and floating in between the spots. But I feel like when I'm floating in between these spaces where I want to receive the ball in dangerous areas, I know I can be good at that. But when I don't get the ball for a couple minutes and I'm out of the game, then I get like impatient and immediately I drop back and I want to get touches again. I want to do something, and be involved in creating, and in having the ball.
You had 6 goals and 6 assists this season, 2,200 minutes. Firstly, do you feel your fitness levels in the back half of the season? Do you feel strong? Do you feel like good in your body at the moment and ready for next season?
I feel like it has been a really, really long season. I didn't have a proper preseason. The preseason wasn't already short enough. Then I had to go for the green card. I missed like a lot of preseason, and I wasn't in a really good shape. Then I had a long injury and personal stuff that was going on, so I was out for a while. Then I came back. I think I've been like in the summertime during the Leagues Cup. That's where I felt like I was body-wise, fitness-wise in the best position. Right now, I would say that I'm mentally really tired, and also body-wise really tired, and just looking forward to the off season and getting ready for next season. And that's also something I want to evolve on, like to get even fitter, to get even in a better shape, to perform at an even higher level. Because I hope next season that I can play even better and increase my level.
Do you set targets for goals and assists? Do you set yourself targets at the start of each season, or do you just see how it comes?
No, just how it comes.
Great. So we didn't make the playoffs this year. What was the reaction in the dressing room to that?
Yeah, the dressing room after the game, Minnesota, when we lost, was kind of dead. It was like dead silent. Everybody was really upset. We had a huge goal. We wanted to make it. We knew we had to win almost every game, and we were really confident that we could do that. And then the Minnesota game, when we lost that, it was just silent. The guys were really upset and disappointed.
Do you think the squad now, after all of the changes, collectively feels that they're in a position next year to really make a good run for playoffs?
Yes, for sure. I think like when we start the preseason together, when we work really hard as a team collectively together, grow even closer together as a team, and improve on all the areas that we need to improve on, defending our goal, conceding less goals, being even more dominant and better on the ball, like all this kind of stuff. I think with the quality we have within the team with these players, I think we have a great opportunity for next year to play a really, really good season.
And do you have any personal expectations for next season? Like outside of just playoffs, like what do you have like targets that you're thinking about on a personal level?
I have to make my personal level more like a team goal. I really want to like, it doesn't matter like if it's the Open Cup, if it's a Leagues Cup, I would really like to win a trophy with St. Louis. Doesn't matter what it is. Like MLS Cup obviously is a huge goal. I'm not saying that's not realistic, but like I would just focus on making it to the playoffs first. But I would really love to win something with this club, with this city. I think this would be hard to explain what would go on here in the city if we would do that.
You'll be getting the fans excited.
Yeah.
Is there a highlight for you this season? Like, I'd love you to share, like, it doesn't have to be necessarily on the pitch, but like, is there it's been a difficult year. Is there been a personal highlight for you?
That's really, really hard to tell. I would say the Club America game, even if we lost it, the way we played against them, I think it was a really fun environment to play in. It was a sold out crowd, and the atmosphere was great. We were playing against a really, really good team, probably the best team in Mexico. I don't know, I just enjoyed that game a lot. And I would also say the win over Kansas City here was a really, really big one.
Fantastic. Yeah. We have a tradition at the end of the show, hand the mic over to you, and if you just want to give a little message to the fans as they head into the winter.
Yeah, I have to say, like, first of all, thank you for all the support for me during that really, really hard time that is still going on. I appreciate all the messages, all the letters I got, gifts I got, encouragements I got, prayers from people. I'm really, really aware of that, and me and my wife are really overwhelmed by all the love of the city because it has been so genuine and so honest. And then also the support the fans have given us was really unique, as I've said it so many times. And I'm just the off season has just started, and I'm already looking forward to the next season and to be in this fun environment again, and hopefully have a great season with all of the fans in the city together.
Well, Edu, that was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. I know that you're super busy. If you're listening to that and you enjoyed it, remember to give us a little 5-star review. So Edu will come back and talk to us next season. We won't leave it 2 years next time, that's for sure. Yes. And on that note, I'll say ciao for now. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.